Today we are going to discuss a topic titled as United States of America as the only major power after the collapse of Soviet Union or the disintegration of USSR. The USSR or Soviet Union, this very important and big communist country in the world, got disintegrated in the year 1991 and it became a history. Actually, USSR and United States of America were the two superpowers which emerged in the world after the Second World War. So from 1945, when the Second World War came to an end, till 1991, when Soviet Union or USSR disintegrated, there were two superpowers in the world, that is United States of America and Soviet Union or USSR. And Cold War was going on between these two superpowers. As far as America was concerned, it considered itself as the savior of the democracy and the free economy, and Soviet Union believed in the communist system, and it also thought that it would be appropriate if the maximum number of countries in the world would become the communist ones. So in this way, ideologically, United States of America and USSR, they were poles apart, and that is why always the competition was going on between these two superpowers between 1945 to 1991. America tried to save democracy in her own words, and USSR tried to spread communism in the maximum number of the countries in the world. Due to this type of Cold War, lots of tensions and wars were fought during the period of Cold War. For example, in the year 1950, one major war was fought in the far eastern part of the world, that is Korea, and as a result of this Cold War politics or competition between the United States of America and Soviet Union, Korea ultimately got divided into North Korea and South Korea. North Korea became a communist country and South Korea preferred to remain democratic country. North Korea became friendly with its northern neighbor, that is communist China, because in the year 1949 in China, communist revolution had become successful under the leadership of Mao Zedong, and North Korea, when it became communist country after the Korean War, it decided to have the friendly relations with the China, and South Korea, it accepted the democratic form of government and it was protected by United States of America. It was supported by America and her friends like Japan, England, etc. So in this way, on the chessboard of far eastern politics, Korea got divided into North and South one. And this was not the only one incident of the Cold War. Actually, during Cold War, many other incidents took place. For example, we can take the example of Cuban Missile Crisis. Actually, when Khrushchev came to rule Soviet Union, as a pressure tactics, he started sending missiles from Soviet Union to Cuba. Cuba is a southern neighbor of United States of America, and during those times, during 1960s, the ruler of Cuba was Fidel Castro, and Fidel Castro had started going closer to Soviet Union. He considered himself as a socialist ruler, and that is why he allowed Soviet Union to install their missiles on the Cuban soil, and America considered that particular action of Soviet Union and Cuba as a direct challenge to the United States of America, and that is why the then president of the United States of America, namely John F. Kennedy, decided to confront with the Soviet Union, and he gave an order to the American Navy to blockade the Soviet ships which were bringing missiles to Cuba, and this blockade started in the Atlantic Ocean. This particular incident is called as Cuban Missile Crisis, and during this particular missile crisis, both Khrushchev as well as John F. Kennedy, Khrushchev, the ruler of Soviet Union, and Kennedy, the president of United States of America, were not ready to budge an inch from their respective positions, and the world was thinking that there might be yet another war, that is the Third World War, and this Third World War could be a nuclear war, because by that time even Soviet Union had made the atom bomb, that is nuclear bomb, and it was having lots of stock of nuclear weapons, as well as United States of America was also having lots of nuclear weapons. And not only so, but both America and USSR, they had the delivery system, that is to take their nuclear weapons from one part of the world to the other part of the world with the help of missiles and other modern war equipments. And that is why entire world was living in the fear during the Cuban Missile Crisis. But at last the good sense prevailed on the side of both Kennedy and Khrushchev, and Khrushchev ultimately decided to withdraw the missiles which were installed in Cuba, and in this way this particular Cuban Missile Crisis was resolved peacefully, and the world was saved from yet another we can say destructive war. Such type of various incidents took place during the Cold War. As a result of Cold War, even Germany got divided into two countries. East Germany became communist country under the leadership of Soviet Union. West Germany became the democratic country with the blessings of America and her friends. And these two Germanys were united around 1989-90, and once again United Germany was created. That is a different story. So in this way lots of things were happening, and always there was one or the other kind of tension prevailing in the world due to this particular Cold War. And when the year 1991 came, as we have mentioned earlier, the Soviet Union got disintegrated. The communist system, the communist rule in Soviet Union got collapsed, and ultimately that country got disintegrated, and various new independent countries came into existence out of Soviet Union, we can say. These countries were Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, Belarus, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, etc., even Ukraine. And when Soviet Union collapsed and when it became history, at that point of time we can say that the Cold War in the world came to an end. And up to that particular point of time, that is 1991 collapse of Soviet Union, there were two superpowers in the world, that is United States of America and Soviet Union. So from 1945 to 1991, world witnessed the Cold War between these two superpowers, and most of the countries in the world, they got divided into the camps of either Soviet Union or United States of America. So after the collapse of Soviet Union in 1991, America remained the only major power, or we can say superpower, in the world. In the year 1991, when Soviet Union collapsed, the ruler of Soviet Union was Mikhail Gorbachev. So he was the last ruler of United Soviet Union, and the president of the United States of America at that point of time was George W. Bush Sr. He belonged to the Republican Party in America. This George W. Bush Sr., he took one important decision of invading Iraq in the year 1991 because Iraq had earlier invaded Kuwait, one of the major Arabian countries in Arabian Peninsula, and Kuwait was oil producing country like Iraq, and that Kuwait was taken over by Iraq. America did not like it. Even other Arabian countries like Saudi Arabia also did not like Iraqi invasion of Kuwait, and as a result of it, America gave warning to Saddam Hussein, who was the ruler of Iraq at that point of time, to withdraw his troops from Kuwait and give freedom to the Kuwait. But Saddam Hussein did not listen to this particular warning, and as a result of it, George Bush Sr., the then president of America, he declared war on Iraq. It was called as the Persian Gulf War, and of course America, with its superior weaponry and also the support of the United Nations and other members of the United Nations organization, was able to defeat Iraq, and Saddam Hussein was forced to give away his control on Kuwait. And not only so, Saddam Hussein was asked not to produce the biological and chemical weapons, which are generally called as the weapons of mass destruction. And also Saddam Hussein was asked that he should allow the United Nations inspectors or observers, as well as any other international genuine community, to inspect Iraq wherever needed in future also, in order to ensure that Iraq is not producing the weapons of mass destruction, that is biological and chemical weapons. So we can say that when Soviet Union collapsed, after that, when America remained only superpower in the world, this particular Gulf War against Iraq was the first important or major event in the world which took place or which happened under the leadership of the United States of America. Then around 1992, Bill Clinton became the president of America. He got elected in the elections. He belonged to the Democratic Party in America. And during the time of Bill Clinton, America became the target of some terrorist attacks. The World Trade Center in New York City terrorists tried to bomb it. Also in Oklahoma City in America, there were terrorist attacks in which lots of people died. Not only so, around 1998, even the US embassies in Kenya and Tanzania were targeted by the terrorists of Al Qaeda. And the leader of this Al Qaeda terrorist organization or outfit was Osama bin Laden. And that is why Bill Clinton gave order to the American forces to take action against Sudan, an African country, and also Afghanistan. Americans believed that Osama bin Laden was earlier hiding in Sudan, and later on he shifted his base to Afghanistan. Even when Bill Clinton was the president at the turn of the, we can say, 20th century, one major crisis took place in the Eastern Europe. There was a country called as Yugoslavia in Eastern Europe at that point of time, which was ruled by Slobodan Milosevic. And Slobodan Milosevic was in a way trying to wipe out the ethnic Albanians from that part of the Europe. And that is why under the leadership of NATO, that is North Atlantic Treaty Organization forces, America took action against Yugoslavia, and Slobodan Milosevic, he was forced to step down afterwards, and he was tried for his war crimes at the International Court of Justice, The Hague, in the Netherlands, and he was put in prison, and afterwards he died in the prison itself. And in 2000, when the elections again took place in America, at that point of time, George W. Bush Jr., son of George W. Bush Sr., he got elected as the president of America as the Republican candidate, and he had we can say entered White House barely for 1 year, and 9/11 attacks happened. That is on 9/11 again Al Qaeda targeted the World Trade Center towers in the New York City, which were the symbols of the economic might of United States of America. And this was the first major terrorist attack on the mainland United States of America, and also on its economic strength and might. And that is why Americans got very angry, and as a result of it, George Bush gave orders to the American forces to hunt down Osama bin Laden. So the hunt for Osama bin Laden started in the year 2001 after the terrorist attacks on World Trade Center towers in the New York City. Even George W. Bush Jr. Invaded Iraq for the second time, and Saddam Hussein was captured after this particular war, and he was also tried for his war crimes, and he was given the death punishment by the Western democracies under the leadership of America. And subsequently, George Bush Jr. completed his tenure as the President of the United States of America, and Barack Obama of Democratic Party got elected as the President of America in the year 2008, and he was the first black president in the history of the United States of America, and it was during the time of Obama in the year 2011. The American forces successfully captured Osama bin Laden from Abbottabad in Pakistan, and they killed Osama bin Laden, and Osama bin Laden was finished from the surface of the earth. So it took nearly 10 years for United States of America to hunt down Osama bin Laden, who had destroyed the symbols of economic power of the United States of America, that is the World Trade Center towers they were twin towers in the city of the New York. So in this way, from 1991 to 2000, lots of developments took place on the chessboard of the world, we can say. And also from 2000 to 2011, the second Gulf War, killing of Saddam Hussein, and ultimately the killing of Osama bin Laden took place under the leadership of the United States of America. So we can say that after the collapse of Soviet Union, after the disintegration of Soviet Union or USSR, so many important events took place in the world, and America was the only superpower, because earlier there was another superpower, that is Soviet Union, but now America was the only superpower, and America got involved in all these conflicts as the only superpower in the world.